Now, how many of you here like traveling? Please raise your hand. Wow, so many people like traveling over here. I love traveling. I love traveling with my parents and my family. I love understanding people's culture, their history, and what is their way of life. Today I'm going to talk about 5 major destinations that I have traveled to, who have made me who I am, who have inspired me. I have learned something different from each destination. So, let's begin. And the first destination that I went to is Spiti Valley, which is a small valley in Himachal Pradesh. Now, to get to Spiti Valley, I first had to board a flight from Ahmedabad to Delhi, and then from Delhi to Chandigarh. But after that, we went towards Spiti Valley on road, and the roads were beautiful. They were filled with mountains and cliff sides, and some were even thickly forested. Now, the road to Spiti was very narrow, and if you do not drive carefully, you can easily fall off a cliff because there is almost nothing separating the road from the cliff side. But the risk was well worth because Spiti Valley is a beautiful place. Like this town over here that you can see, which is atop a hill in Spiti Valley. There are many such towns. Over here you can also see the Dhankar town with the Dhankar Monastery, which is a beautiful monastery and a must visit if you visit Spiti Valley. Now, a major city in Spiti Valley is the Kaza city, which is relatively small but still very big. Now, in the town center of the Kaza city, there is a huge monastery which people call the Kaza Monastery. Over here you can see an image of how it looks like. Over here you can see a better view of the Kaza Monastery. And here is a general monastery in Spiti Valley. Now, in Spiti Valley you can also see wild horses that are running about in plains of Spiti Valley. And in Spiti Valley, it is actually a desert. There is not much water there. So, you have to learn how to store grain and food for a long time because your crop would not be stable. So, in Spiti Valley, these ancient house-like structures are built which can store food for over 15 years. Isn't that amazing? Now, the last place that we went to in Spiti Valley is the Chandratal Lake, which is called the Chandratal Lake because it is in the shape of a crescent moon. Its water is considered to be holy and pious to Buddhists, and it is also said to have medicinal properties. It is a beautiful lake and also a must visit if you go to Spiti Valley. The next place I went to is the Little Run of Kutch, which is very close to Ahmedabad. You can take a drive over there. It's a very special desert because some part of the year it is completely filled with water, while the other part it is completely dry. So in the Little Run of Kutch, a show stealer is the Indian wild ass, which is only found in the desert of Kutch and nowhere else throughout the entire country of India. There are also many other birds and animals like suppose imperial eagles, kestrels and other animals. But there is one bird that you should see in the Little Run of Kutch, which is the peregrine falcon, which is the fastest bird on the entire planet. It achieves this fast speed by having a streamlined shape and diving down the air at great speeds. From the Little Run of Kutch, I learned something very interesting, which is DGScopy. Now, what is DGScopy, you may ask? Well, over here you can see 3 pictures. Would you believe that all of them are taken by a simple 2x, 3x zoom mobile camera? Probably not, because they are very high resolution and very clear. But yes, that is true. And this is done when you place your phone camera module against the eyepiece of either a binocular or a spotting scope. Till the image is visible, then you focus on the image and you click, which results in beautiful images like this. The next place I went to is also nearby, which is the Polo Forest of Gujarat. And the Polo Forest, as its name says, is a forest. But that's not the only thing in Polo Forest. In Polo Forest, there are many ancient temple ruins that were built approximately from the 15th to 17th centuries. The main temple in Polo Forest is very huge. And something interesting to note about the temple in Polo Forest is that it connects to Eider Fort, which is 40 kilometers away, via secret underground tunnel. Now that's interesting to know because even in ancient times, our ancestors could build such technology that could help them build a tunnel for over 40 kilometers. But Not only man-made beauty is there in Polo Forest, lot of natural beauty is there too. Like you can see here a cliffside, a creek. You can see many creeks, rivers, waterfalls, many mountains also in Polo Forest. And it is overall a beautiful place to visit. Now the next place I went to is Sasangir. And in Sasangir, everybody says it's about the Asiatic lions. They are very big and they are only found in from the entire country and from the entire continent. They're only found in Sasangir. But that's simply not true. There are many other creatures also in Sasangir which are of equal importance. Like you can see over here a female blue bull or even a shrike, some spotted deer and leopards. There are many other birds in Sasangir like plum-headed parakeets, paradise flycatchers and many more. In fact, even a famous ornithologist of India, Dr. Salim Ali, said if Sasangir didn't have lions and other big cats, then it would definitely be a sanctuary for birds. Now, one of the final places I went to is the Marine National Park of Gujarat of Jamnagar and Dwarka district. Now, something special to note about this park is it entirely works on the base of tides and you can walk over there and you can see many ocean creatures. So, when the high tide comes in, water gets trapped in small crevices, and when the low tide comes in, the water goes away. But what water is trapped in the little crevices, it cannot move. So, ocean life flourishes in these little puddles. Over here, you can see many corals. In fact, even one coral displaying the concept of tide pools very clearly. And you can also see a sponge. Yes, that is a real animal. And yes, it does live in the ocean. Now, over here on this slide, you can see a seahorse, you can see an octopus, you can see even a starfish. But everybody must be wondering, what is that sea slug-like thing with that complicated name? Well, it is the Sakureolus gujaratica, which is a sea slug that is only found on the Poshitra reef of Dwarka in a very small 10 by 10 meter square area. It is not found anywhere else in the entire world. You might also be wondering, what is that yellow oval-like structure? It is very interesting. Well, it is an egg sac. Sea slugs like the Sakureolus gujaratica lay eggs like that, and that is how they reproduce. Now, all of these places, they've taught me something different. From Spiti Valley, I learned that many people do not have basic resources like water, and they have to live on mountains, but still they find a way to do that. From the little run of Kutch, I learned how to do DGScopy, how to make my photos better with more clarity and more zoom. From Polo Forest, I learned that even in ancient times, our ancestors were very advanced. They were not bad, and all the feats that they conquered were nothing to be laughed at. From Sasangir, I learned that just because everybody says it's about lions does not mean that the only focus is that. Many organisms can be seen which are of equal importance. From the Marine National Park of Jamnagar and Dwarka, I learned many things like how tide pools work, how ocean animals learn to survive in these small water crevices, and even just because I cannot see them daily does not mean that they are of no importance. Everything contributes to our ecosystem. A great person said travel is rich in learning opportunities and the ultimate souvenir is a broader perspective. Thank you.